All right. Hi guys, it's Tuesday, so it's Chromebook Hangout question and answer. Um, excuse me. Um, Unfortunately, this weekend was a little busier than I thought I'd be, so I don't have a set list of extension and apps. I was kind of starting a minute or two late, uh, just throwing a couple that I use daily. I didn't get a chance to look at some new ones yet. We don't have very many questions. We have two from Dean Bricklin, one anonymous question, and one from Daniel Mullen. So we'll go ahead and jump into those real quick, and then I'll go over the extensions that I use on a daily basis. So the first question from Dean Bricklin is going to be, some people find the Chromebook keyboard weird. I wonder why companies haven't done the lowercase letters sooner. Why has it taken it so long for someone to decide lowercase was better than uppercase? Um, to be honest, I don't know. It was probably a corporate decision where they were just like assuming uppercase were easier to read and easier to not mistake for other letters or something like that. I don't know why uh, the design has taken Google to come back and do it. Personally, I like it mainly because unless you have caps lock or you're holding down the shift button, the letters are going to be lowercase. Um, Now, if they got a keyboards that would be like a little display where you hit the shift key, they capitalize, or the caps lock so on, they all capitalize, that'd be cool, but that'd be not very cost effective either. All right, so the anonymous question I have is, how do I turn on trusted devices for my Chromebook to connect to my Samsung Galaxy S5? As far as I know, trusted devices is not turned on or not accessible outside of the dev channel. Um, I'd have to break out my Samsung and figure that out. Uh, but I don't believe that it is set up yet. Uh, Second question from Dean. Apologies. Apparently, the European Union is trying to split up Google because they are too successful. I don't know how they are going to do this in a legal manner, but it sounds dumb to me. Uh, if this does happen, what will it mean for Chrome OS and the availability of Chromebooks in Europe? Do you think Google will keep the same goals, or will they work independently from the American market? To be honest, I've not followed that all that well. Um, but I'm sure Google will fight it because there are plenty of alternatives. Uh, they just happen to be they just happen to be one of the lower cost alternatives than, say, a Windows machine or something. Um, I think worst comes to worst, they'll just um, distribute the rights to the OEMs, kind of like how Android is. Um, so I don't know how it would affect them, and I don't see Google going down without a fight. And then finally for Daniel Wolin, why is it that people really want to put Windows under their Chromebooks? No one wants to take Android off their phones. I really don't know why people want to put Windows on a Chromebook. Uh, it may be people that don't understand what Chrome OS is when they get the machine and want to go back to a familiar operating system on a fairly decently lower priced hardware. But if you're looking for a Windows machine and then you go buy a Chromebook, and you want to put Windows on it, you'd figure they know better, but not too many people do. Okay, so there's those, and excuse me. Um, so with the extensions I'm going to go over, there is one. Let me double check that I don't use daily. Well, okay, technically two, because I don't cast everything every day. I'll go ahead and excuse me. Alrighty. All right. So the first extension that I like to share is is right here. It's a one-click extension, and actually the right here is the icon for it. What this does is it allows me to toggle extensions on or off one by one, or all off at once and all back on at once. This is very helpful when I'm trying to figure out if a extension is acting up or if I just want to change up how a extension is affecting my surfing. It's it's real easy to use. You just click on the icon, it drops down the list. You click on the ones you want to turn off, or you click on the ones you want to turn on. When I'm troubleshooting, I'll turn them all off and then turn on the ones that I want on individually. But if I think something's acting up, I'll turn them all off and try to eliminate the extension that's figure out which extension is my rogue extension, my extension that's messing things up. The next extension that I use, which is right there, is the Chrome Web Store Launcher by Google. It is a little launcher bar that I can pin 5 favorites at the top. Then I'll have a list of all my apps and whatnot that is searchable. And at the very bottom, I can also search the Chrome Web Store. So I don't have to go to the Chrome Web Store and find stuff. I just go from there. I do use this every day because I normally, down below you can see, I normally hide my my taskbar. Um, but that's the second extension. Third extension is the uh, Google URL shortener. Now, this is not by Google, but you can sign into your Google account and it'll save the history and whatnot. This is Google's URL shortener. It's just not their extension. They don't have an extension to do this. I found this extension, I don't remember how long ago, but at least a year. Uh, I find it very useful. Um, it'll have the icon up in the extension part, or you can reach it by the right click context menu. Um, when you click on the icon up in the extension bar, you can have it set to automatically copy the URL, so you don't have to click copy or whatnot. You'll get a QR code. You'll get an option to see the details for that. You can customize it with a whole lot of different sites or social sharing options. I have it set for Google Plus and Gmail, I believe. But yeah. No, technically the final extension, because the one after this will be an app. The final extension is Google Cast. I do use this quite a bit, just not every day. Like when I'm browsing something and when my wife and I are shopping online, instead of both of us huddling around the Chromebook, I'll cast the entire screen to the TV. That way she can see also easier. But mainly I use it for like casting YouTube or casting, which I don't need the extension for, but there are some sites that don't allow me to cast the video from their video player. So I'll just cast the tab, maximize the video, and put it on the TV. But that's what I do with that. And then finally, Mini Mirror, which is the little video that's overlaid on my the little display right here where you can see me on my screen share is Mini Mirror, and that's exactly what it's for, or that's exactly what I use it for. I got introduced to it by James, one of the Chromebook Central Rising Stars. It's a really good looking, or a really good app to use for things like this, where okay, I want to show you my screen, show you how things are done, but I'm also going to let you see me, and that way you can still see me, so you know I'm not just going okay, whatever. But it's so you can still see still show that you're present. And those are the extensions I use. On a regular basis and whatnot. There are a few others that I do use that like Google Plus notifications, um, the Google Plus One button. On occasion, I'll use Mighty Text, which will allow me to read and respond to text messages. There's a Chrome extension that goes with an Android app. That way I can answer and send texts from my Chromebook without having to have my phone near me, as long as it's connected to the same Wi-Fi network. Um, and actually, I don't even think it needs to be connected to the Wi-Fi network. I think as long as my phone has connection, any data connection, I can send a message through on my Chromebook. Um, I use Google Dictionary. That's a very handy extension. I just like to absorb information, so I use that. Um, Now, a few that I have turned off. Or I'll just keep going down the list of stuff I have. Um, I use Google's Bookmark Manager. Um, I just prefer it over the stock. Oh yeah, I have I forget what that's called. My new tab page, I have. It's just called Home New Tab Page. Um, it's not as customizable as I'd like. I do, excuse me. I do prefer it because it has the apps on there where I can scroll through and whatnot. Personally, I really do. I really miss one called a new tab page or new tab. Oh, the developer stopped developing and took it out of the web store, so I forget the name of it. It's like new tab with clock or something, and he allowed it to be customizable by using CSS. And I did a few themes that I always changed around. I had a Batman theme, a Twisted Metal theme, an Android theme. Um, and I just like playing around with that. I used Google Web Fonts to customize the text of the clock and the whatnot, and I really did like that. I liked the whole customizable thing, and later on he added a feature where you could have the apps either on a. At first, it was a drop down, and then he added where it's a new page where you could shift over and to a second page. And personally, I prefer the drop down menu, um, and I really like the customize, being able to really customize my own um, new my own new tab page. Um, we also had one called New Tab Widgets. Uh, that one was okay. I preferred New Tab with Clock, um, mainly because I didn't need the widgets. I liked having the clock on there where I could customize it with the Google Web Fonts and have the background what I wanted. Um, But home, I can't customize it, so it's okay. Uh, the other ones that are customizable, they're either too resource heavy or they're not as easy to customize. And if I could, I would side load new tab with widgets or new tab with clock or whatever. Because I do have the the packaged installation file from the developer. He gave it to me before Google blocked side loading. Um, but that's neither here nor there. Um, so we'll go through some of my actually, I don't have many apps. um, yeah, I don't have many apps that I use often. I use Ticky Tack, which is a clock with word text instead of numbers, and you can kind of change the background. I like the comic book one. Um, I personally prefer the look of Gmail offline, but I also like the look of Inbox now. Um, um, I guess we'll jump over to jump over to Chromebook Central. See if there are any questions that I can answer over here. Okay. Sort. No third of reply. Okay. How do I reset my display defaults? My display is black with white letters. I want to change it back to white with black letters. So they have accessibility turned on, uh, or an accessibility, the high contrast feature. Um, with So what they need to do, I don't play around with them, so I have to go down. And high contrast mode is what they have. So what they need to do is go to settings. Let's see if there's an option to use a keyboard shortcut. It doesn't look like it. What they really need to do is go to settings and then scroll all the way down, show more. And then under accessibilities, it'll have use high contrast mode, and it'll have a checkbox next to it. And they actually have that checked. So they'll have to go and uncheck that box. Okay. And this one I can't answer. All they have is translating for the title and for their name. Unfortunately, the only thing I can do with that one is let them know that we need more information. Alrighty. I cannot access my files to share on websites like Google Plus and Facebook, etc. So it looks like they're using an HP Chromebook. I recently purchased a Chromebook for my daughter for schoolwork. The Chromebook runs well, except she's encountering an issue with image sharing. I can plug in my USB drives and access images and documents, spreadsheets, from files, and I can do the same with all her documents on her Google Drive, but we can't. we can look at them, download them, upload them to USB devices to drive, or from USB devices to drive, and back again, no problems. When she logs into Google Plus, Facebook, Tumblr, etc., and wants to add an image to her post, when navigating to the image from the files icon, nothing shows up. There is one of her HSC documents there and nothing else. I cannot even open any folders on the Drive account. Any ideas, any help can be very, very, very appreciated. um, with that, oh, because I've never had an issue with my files not showing up from for Google Plus anyway. Then to Facebook. Um, you may want to try to see if excuse me, if there's an extension interfering. Um, I would say try Google or guest mode, but if you're trying to access the files, guest mode's not going to help you because you won't be able to see the files um, or the Google Drive account. But I'd turn off some extensions to see if maybe an extension get in the that doesn't by turning off the extensions and now it not working. You may have run into an issue, and I would definitely send an issue. I'd try to upload a photo or an image or whatever, and even if it does fail, and if you know it's going to fail, go through the motion anyway. Let the Chromebook log the information, and then immediately after, Alt-Shift-I will generate an issue report. And make sure you include the log. There's a checkbox that says include the log. It's already checked. Make sure you do not uncheck that. That'll send the information from the system of what you were just trying to do to the Chrome OS team. That way they can kind of help figure it out and hopefully fix your issue. That's not something I've heard often. And personally, I've not run into that issue where I can't access my files to upload to the social network. That's actually all the questions I could answer. Um, Yep. So let's see. All right, so that's about it for that. Um, I know I said I was going to do an hour, but I have no more questions from the forum. I have nothing really set up for you guys this week, and a lot of the questions on Chromebook Central are a lot of repeat questions. Um, excuse me. I have an update. I have a Chrome OS update on my Pixel. So I'll do my disclaimer and my contact stuff. Disclaimer: I am not a Google employee, nor do I have any insight or knowledge of Google workings. My knowledge from Chromebooks, Chrome OS, Chrome uh, boxes, Chrome devices comes from a hunger of knowledge. I would say. When they announced Chrome OS in 2009, I thought it was a really cool idea, so I started following it, and any information I could get about it, I would just take. 2010, they sent out the CR48s. I was one of the lucky ones that got one. I still have it. It still does work. I then got a Samsung Series 5 Chromebook, the original Samsung Series 5. After I got the Samsung Series 5 Chromebook, I was playing around with that an awful lot. I would still occasionally use the CR48, but I was using the commercial version more so I could help on forums with people who had the Chromebook that I was using that needed help. I did do a tear apart video for a CR48, which is on this channel. So if you have a CR48 and it's constantly crashing, you may want to check the SSD card or the SSD cable uh, and see if that will help you out. That was a issue for some people, and it did kind of fix it because it was loose and it'd pop out and just crash on you. Um, uh, about two, yeah, about 2 years ago, I was invited to become a Chromebook Central top contributor. That was before they did the Rising Star program. So I was at ATC, and I was a TC with a lot of very knowledgeable, very technically knowledgeable people. I just consider myself one of the end users that like to help. Um, and um, After I became a TC, they announced, or shortly before I became a TC, I believe they announced the Pixel. I went and got one of those secondhand. And at shortly after that, I got the Samsung Chromebook, which is the ARM-based Chromebook. I am looking at getting just to check it out, maybe to use one of the Acer Chromebooks. I prefer the the Acer 720p, but I'll honestly, I don't have the spare money right now, so I'm better off not getting another Chromebook, um, just because there are, counting my CR48, 3 in the house that work. The Series 5 is dead because the charger housing in the Chromebook broke off. But that's my credentials. To contact for questions, you can always just simply, if you're watching this on YouTube or even on Google Plus, comment down below, and I will make sure I add those to my questions. There is also a link to a Google form where I accept questions also for this. And if you don't want to wait till next week, you can always go to Chromebook Central. The link is also down below. If you do go to Chromebook Central, please, 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 in your title, just give a brief description of what's going wrong, like screen won't turn on or screen is really dim. And then down in the subject or the body of the post, be as detailed as possible. Please let us know which Chromebook you have, like the Samsung Chromebook or the Samsung Chromebook 2 or the Acer 720, the 720p, the HP 11, the HP 14, the Toshiba, whichever Chromebook you have. And if you're not 100% sure, you can go to Chrome//help and copy those first 3 lines. It'll be the platform, firmware, and version number, and we can surmise what Chromebook you have from that information. And then just go into detail, like if your screen is ultra dim and if it's like I turn on my Chromebook and the screen is barely visible, there's like no backlighting. I have tried to use the brightness buttons to increase the brightness, and it does not help. Just let us know what you've tried or what the issue is, and what you're doing when it happens. That way we can kind of um, try to replicate it. That way we can figure out how to help you with your problem. Um, and if it's a Wi-Fi issue, please include what router you have. Um, yeah, include what router you have, maybe even what ISP you're using. That way the Chrome OS team will be able to help that out. So with that, I'm Jason. I'm Chromebook Central TC top contributor. I thank you for watching. I thank Dean and Daniel for their questions this week. Again, if you have questions, you can either hit me up on Google Plus, you can comment down below, or you can use that form that I have set up for questions. If you are not patient enough to hear from me next week, you can also just go to Chromebook Central and please be as detailed as possible. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.